Thank you very much, Gord. Zdeněk Šmíd is the starting goaltender for the Czech Republic. He has started all the games so far for his team. This is start number 3 in a row. And at the other end for Canada, no surprise to see Maxime Ouellet getting the call. Came into camp trying to make the team, and I think most people felt he would likely be number 2. However, he has emerged as the go-to guy, at least early for Canada. He had a strong camp and has looked good. Brian Finlay will again be the backup. Christer Larking from Sweden is the referee. Ovi Luthke and Pavel Makarov are on the lines. Canada is in white, the Czechs in red, and we are set to roll. You look back over the history of the World Junior Hockey Championship, the Czechs have had so many great players, great lines, and solid teams, yet they have never won a gold medal in the history of the tournament.
Well, let's take a look at the lineup for Canada in today's game. We had talked earlier about the fact that you're going to see Malhotra's and Reed's line play well defensively, hopefully today for Canada, up against the 2 top Czech lines. Back in the blue line, I really like the way that Matthew Biron played. He's such a big guy, 6'6", 212 pounds. He's got a lot of reach and an awful lot of good experience already. Having played with Kenny Johnson on the blue line for the New York Islanders this year, most of the part anyway, during the 17 games. We've got a Czech player that's down on the ice already.
That happened right off the face-off. That is Jaroslav Svoboda, who plays for the Kootenay Ice in the Western Hockey League. And he got a stick in the face right at the draw.
Take a look at the right side of your screen, folks, right here. That was quick.
And heading to the box for Canada is Danny Heatley.
Heatley just got that stick up very quickly. Svoboda went down.
Well, and Canada will want to watch this because the Czech power play is very good. It was particularly good in their opening game against the Slovaks. They had 3 power play goals, 2 power play goals in that one just as the player had gotten back in the ice. So officially not a power play goal, but in reality it was an odd man situation.
And Claude Julien has talked to his team a lot about penalties. They've taken too many penalties, especially in their first exhibition game. They took too many penalties in the finish game.
Malhotra up there working hard down in the corner. This will be one of his big roles for Canada. Solid defensively on the draws and in penalty killing. And they also wouldn't mind a few goals as well if that's not putting too much pressure on him. Czechs with lots of time to go in the man advantage. Vasicek moving it up through center. This is Kraft, number 14. He had the hat trick in the opening game of the tournament for the Czechs. He's got the puck here and he knifed it just wide. Rolls around loose there, trying to get it out for Canada is Jackman. Couldn't get it out. Kutlak back at the blue line, works it across. Kraft is lurking just off the edge of the slot, just out to the right of Ouellet. Now Kraft moves in towards the front of the goal as they work the puck back to Kutlak. He fires one. The rebound off the boards, chipped but not on goal. Rossiter battling away for Canada. Got it to the line but not out. 52 seconds left in the power play for the Czechs. They're looking good here with the man advantage. Puck fired towards the goal. Jackman knocked it down and Bauk gets it out. 40 seconds left in the power play for the Czech Republic. Svoboda fires one, and that was tipped by Biron up over the glass and out of play. Starting lineups in this game brought to you by Chapters.ca. Just you and a few million gift ideas.
Well, the 2 big lines that we talked about for the Czechs are right there, folks, and they will see lots of action today. Again, accounting for 6 out of the 7 goals that the Czech Republic have scored in this tournament so far. Back in the blue line, watch for Peter Svoboda. He's a Toronto draft pick. He's 6'3", 209 pounds. He's a big, strong player for them that will log a lot of ice time in this game today against Canada.
This game almost like a Western Hockey League All-Star game. You have Christek from Tri-City, Civic from Prince Albert, Svoboda from Kootenay, and also Kraft from Prince Albert. Puck in front, chipped towards the goal there by Christek, but knocked away. 8 seconds left in the power play. Heatley is set to step back onto the ice. He does, and the teams are at even strength. We are early in this one, 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the game. Canada and the Czech Republic. Game 3 for the Czechs, game number 2 for Canada. The Czechs with a win and a tie, and Canada with an opening game victory, although there were some disturbing trends, or at least one, that Claude Julien and his coaching staff were aware of in that game against Finland.
Well, I think we have to limit the turnovers that we created at both blue lines, in our defensive end and in the offensive end. Looking back at the tapes from the last game, we seem to have a lot of success when we got the puck in deep, and that's how we create our scoring chances. So hopefully the guys are buying into that, and we'll be using that tonight.
And that success for the Canadians came in the first and second period. In the third period, once the Finns had scored that goal against Canada, they seemed to really sit back. Were back on their heels, panicked a little bit too much, and then they started giving up the puck and turning it over too much.
You think it was panic, or were they just being tentative?
A little of both, Paul. I think they were also concerned about taking penalties, and as a result weren't as aggressive.
Pivko dropped it across, puck fired in. Willette doesn't know where it is. It finally bounces down in front of Ryder, trying to get it out, gets it around back of the goal. Havlat had it knocked off of his stick, getting some good help up there from Svoboda. That's Yaroslav Svoboda, number 26. Peter Svoboda is number 3. He's a defenseman. There's Peter Svoboda, fires a shot. That was stopped by Willette. By the way, before you ask, no relation between Peter Svoboda, the junior, and Peter Svoboda playing in the NHL.
It was a good shot from the point by Peter Svoboda. Low and right on net.
Hayek clears it in. It comes up around the boards and out. Kutlak with it. That pass was behind Pettinger and goes down, and Canada gets called for icing. We're 3:26 into this game. 0s on the board. The first period is brought to you by Dodge and its local retailers.
Yaroslav Holek, the father of Bobby Holek from the New Jersey Devils. As a player, this man competed at 7 World Championships. Got a gold in '72 and then a silver at the Olympics in '72. That was a big year for him.
Puck zipped right on goal. That was eye high and yanked down by Willette. A clean win on the faceoff there for the Czechs. Bob McKenzie is with us right down between the two benches. Bob, what's up?
Well, the referee for this game is Sweden's Christer Larking, and he's not any stranger to Team Canada. He was the official in Canada's 7-1 loss to Sweden in a pre-tournament game where Canada filled the penalty box. That was in part because of a lack of discipline by Canada, but also because they felt he calls it extremely tight. Anything in front of the net where a defenseman's stick comes off the ice, he generally calls a penalty.
All right, thanks, Bob.
Good point, Bob. And Claude Julien mentioned that he felt that they took 4 or 5 minor penalties just from kind of that cross-check in front of the net. They took 12 penalties in all in that game.
Puck rolling up ahead. Civic kicked it into gear, trying to catch up to a rolling puck, but offside called in any event.
We talk about Manny Malhotra's line being a good checking line out there today and got to do their job defensively, but at the same time, Claude Julien is expecting that both Malhotra's line and Reed's line have the abilities also to create offense. I don't want to slate them in that position of just being defensive checkers out there by any means, because these two lines, and Manny's line in particular right here, have got the capabilities of scoring as well and outplaying the top lines for the Czechs.
Pass comes up ahead for Bell and can't catch up to it, and Canada is called for icing. You want to talk about guts? Well, you see it displayed by many players, but here's the latest example. Steve McCarthy, this is what happened in the game against Finland. Going towards the goal, he thought maybe the puck was going to bounce into the net. So talk about paying the price. Watch this. That's bad. That's worse.
His teeth went right into the goal post. He ended up with 4 teeth that were affected. He had root canal work, and yet he's out there playing tonight. Tough character.
McCarthy, draft pick of the Chicago Blackhawks. And he's been the top defenseman with Kootenay the last couple of years. Richards steering it up, trying to fight his way through a check is Bell. Pettinger's up there. That Pettinger played a good opening game in this tournament. Picked up a goal for Canada. Cornet rubbed out by Pettinger along the boards. Canada will change in the go. Kerstad back to pick it up. Irgl works it up ahead. Yindra ricocheting it off the boards. Puck is going to bounce down. The Czechs are on a change, so there wasn't much support at all there for Vazicek, and he just fired it in. Vazicek stays out there, and the reinforcements are out. Havlat moves it up. Vazicek along the boards. Gets it up ahead. Havlat gets it back. Vazicek coming in. He goes towards the goal after dropping it off, but couldn't get the return feed from Havlat. Canada coming down. Puck just poked in there by Biron. Up along the boards, bounced away from Lundmark, and back come the Czechs. Vazicek rifles that one.
What a good shot. He was looking for the top corner on that drive.
Watch out for Vazicek and Svoboda, who just threw that hit. Yaroslav Svoboda trying to knock it loose. Rossiter for Canada. Gets it up along the boards. David there at the line trying to keep it in. Bounced away, and here comes Reed for Canada. Works it across in front of the net, trying to feed Lundmark there. He couldn't wheel it down. Svoboda. It's been a long shift for him, so he just got across center and dumped it in.
Well, it was a long shift for Reed's line as well for Canada.
Christek in over the line, throws it back high in the slot. Kraft couldn't knock it down. Yindra with a shot, bounces down into the corner. Christek gets it in front. Kraft fires one, and he caught the post. Point blank shot for Milan Kraft. Yindra skating back to pick it up. Bout attempted to bump him into the boards, was unsuccessful in that endeavor. Kerstad trying to work it out. Kraft just gets it down the ice. What a great chance for Milan Kraft. He was all alone, right in prime scoring position, took the kill shot, and couldn't quite get it by Ouellet.
He's the man they want to eliminate today, and yet early in this hockey game, Canada have given up a great scoring opportunity. Watch this open ice, folks. Look who goes to it. Milan Kraft, he's right there. Nobody from Canada is on this guy. He rings it off the crossbar, right where it hits the post. Milan Kraft last year scored 47 goals, had 59 assists in 82 games in Prince Albert. You don't leave this man alone in the high slot.
And by our count, the Czechs with 2 good scoring chances so far in this game, Canada with none. Played 6:35 of the opening period. Puck just fired down towards the corner. Niederost up after for the Czechs. Couldn't get in time. Irgl clears it back in. Niederost up along the boards. Trying to get some help from Irgl, and play whistle down. And it's going to be a charging call. We will sort that out for you when we come back. 0-0 is the score. It's time for all Canadians to make a commitment to better our hockey programs. Esquire and the Canadian Hockey Association are working together to develop minor hockey in Canada. $1 from each Esquire watch sold between October and March will go directly to the sponsorship and growth of minor hockey. Check out tsn.ca/ESQ or your participating Esquire dealer. Tell us about your team of superstars. They could receive Bauer merchandise and be the next Team Esquire stars to say,
Well, Joe Roulier ends up with a charging penalty. You be the judge at home, folks, but I don't think so. He puts on the brakes, in fact, right here, just kind of lifted himself up, but That to me was a
Yeah,
charge,
but
especially when you put on the brakes. So yeah, you lifted
that's
yourself
what,
off
that's
the
why
feet.
but
He
that,
jumped up.
but you know the ref over here is going to make that call if he sees you leave the ice to throw ahead.
But a charging penalty is supposed to be when you can leave your feet, but you run a guy. Well, he put the brakes on before he hit the guy.
They have Kraft parked back at the left point to start things off on the power play. Here's Peter Svoboda. Works it up. Czechs with 3 power play goals in the tournament so far, and Kraft has a couple of them. He almost tucked one in there, parked just off to the right of Ouellette.
Ouellette was sharp in game number 1, and I really liked the way that he focused in game 1. He was one of Canada's most intense players.
Well, Ouellette was named the top goaltender in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League last year. And with Brian Finley, he shared a gold at the National Under-18 tournament. He's no stranger to international competition, but he has really opened eyes, both with a great training camp and in the early going in this tournament. He has been Canada's man between the pipes.
And he really played well in game number 1. You couldn't fault him for either of the 2 finished goals.
Puck comes back to Peter Svoboda. Kraft has moved up in the wing now. Plays back, drops it down low. Civic is up there, and so is Kraft. 1:30 to go in the power play. Lots of time. Svoboda fired one just wide. And after it in the corner, a little bit of room there for Baukin. He got it out. Second power play chance of the game for the Czech Republic. They had one right off the bat when Danny Heatley got called for high sticking. Up towards the corner goes Peter Svoboda. Looking in front. Civic is up there, number 25, a swing and a miss. He couldn't quite knock it down. 58 seconds to go in the power play for the Czech Republic. Chris Nielsen up there trying to force a little bit. Vasicek works it across. Puck fired. Well, let's stop that one. That was Irgl who had the chance. Irgl after it, tried to work it back to the blue line, but it got by Kutlak and down the ice. 39 seconds left in the man advantage. Jackman gumming up the works along the boards momentarily there for Canada. Novak tiptoes in over the blue line. Looking towards the front of the net. Had Horna breaking in. Couldn't get it to him. Goes back to the blue line. Kutlak let the shot go. That was blocked. Irgl trying to tee it up. And the puck wouldn't sit for him. 12 seconds left in the power play. Horna looking. Back to the line. Irgl. Sohor got it across in front. Here's Christek. Penalized player comes back on. The Czechs with the pressure on. Drilled on goal by Kutlak. And Ouellette with the stop.
Well, Canada's made an adjustment killing penalties here today. In game number 1 against Finland, they did not force deep in Finland's zone at any time. They laid back between the 2 blue lines and tried to trap while they were killing that penalty. But today, already, we can see that Canada's trying to put some pressure on. They're trying to force, again, the Czech defense to give up that puck. They're chasing in all 3 zones today, something they did not do in game number 1 against the Finns. So an adjustment in Canada's penalty killing. They're using the boards well, as they did in that particular situation where they were able to get the puck out. Again, chipping the puck out is something that Claude Julien's team worked on yesterday in practice. They felt they had to control the boards better in today's game. They didn't like the way that they gave them up in the 3rd period in game number 1.
4 scoring chances for the Czechs so far in this game, and we haven't hit the halfway point of the period. Now they've had a couple of power plays. Canada has yet to get a scoring chance. Gindra brings it up around the boards. McCarthy after it. Ribeiro trying to come away along the wall, but the puck got away from him. And again, the Czechs so quick moving that puck down the ice. This is Ryder. Long pass up. Ribeiro is breaking down the right side, but Chouinard just firing it in. Ribeiro up after it. Trying to the puck loose. Ryder coming in with a hit. Here's Chouinard. Fired one. And that is stopped and held by Schmid.
Bouwmeester got a shift early in this hockey game. He didn't get one until the 3rd period in the first game. And he got that shift, I think, in the third period because of the fact that McCarthy was injured. But I know that Claude Julien wanted to, if he could, get both Spezza and Bouwmeester into the game maybe a little bit more today. Spezza only had one shift, I believe, in the first game. Bouwmeester had about 3. But he's got to play early in this game. It's tough on young kids coming here and also sitting for a long period of time. For Bouwmeester to sit for 2 full periods made it difficult for him in game 1.
Biron fired one that was steered away.
He's a kid that's used to playing a lot.
Many have had to make that adjustment coming to this tournament,
and it's not easy. It's a tough adjustment for these kids to make.
Biron, long shot, drove that one in on goal, but Canada called offside. And they're going to call that an intentional offside and move the draw back down to Canadian territory. Here's Bob McKenzie.
Well, guys, you were talking about Jay Bouwmeester getting a little more ice time in this game. 2 shifts in this period alone. It'll be interesting to see if he does play a lot more, because Roulier took that penalty, had some undisciplined play in game 1, and it's Roulier's spot that Bouwmeester's been moving into along with Steve McCarthy. So it may be a sign of things to come in this game that Bouwmeester will be playing a little more.
In all fairness to Roulier, though, I hope he doesn't get his ice time taken away because of that charging call.
David with a shot, rebound, trickled through. Actually, it was a redirect. The shot never made it on goal. Kraft just flicked it wide, but Kraft's got it again. Fires one at a beat in the top shelf. Couldn't quite find it. Again, this is Kraft getting set there at the side as he comes in after the puck. Taps it around. Christek tied up along the boards. Jackman contending with Kraft there along the boards. It comes loose, and Barrett Jackman trying to start things back for Canada. Has Nielsen up along the boards, but it was knocked down. Puck just dumped in. It was a delayed offside in the Czechs. Long pass up to Nielsen. Puck just got away from him. It's going to roll in, steered away by Schmid. Nielsen comes up with that puck. Good hustle. Knifes it right in front. Schmid with the stop. That was Mark Bell coming in with the scoring chance. Great hustle from Nielsen to create that scoring opportunity as he came up with the puck. Here's Irgl. Puck tapped up ahead. Horna motoring into the corner. He was upended there. Bouwmeester with it. So Bouwmeester getting another shift. That's his 3rd of the game.
And a little bit more confidence, too. He started to carry the puck out of his zone.
Bouwmeester flicks it in. Goes up around back of the net. Richards up there looking for it. Richards is going to get to that loose puck. Puts it down there for Heatley. Tried to send it out. That was Bell in the slot, but the pass was up around his waist and had to be to make it over a couple of sticks. Played 12 minutes of this opening period, 0-0, Canada and the Czech Republic. Here comes Heatley, moving in, dropped it back, Reed scores! Brandon Reed puts Canada up by a score of 1-0.
Well, in the last few minutes, Canada have finally been able to get their game plan going. They wanted to chip it in. They wanted to get that puck in deep. They wanted to be able to take the body and cycle, get some scoring opportunities as a result from some good corner work. Reed ends up alone in the slot. You see that open ice there, folks? He had lots of it. The Czechs defensively ended up just leaving him alone. Heatley ended up finding him, but lots of open ice for Reed, and Reed capitalizes on it with a great shot.
Danny Heatley with a nice feed to Brandon Reed.
Good example of what we were talking about earlier. This line's got a check today, but they have also got the abilities to score.
12:08 the time of the goal. Here's Bouk. Puts it up around the boards. It wobbles by Rossiter. Jackman back there to cover for his partner. So the Czechs have had the better scoring chances, but Canada takes advantage of its best. Nielsen crashing into the corner. Had Malhotra drifting towards the front of the net. Bouk just flips it in. And Claude Julien will change it up. Coming up on 13 minutes played in this first period. Canada with a 1-0 lead. Puck up on the dasher board there, finally fell down. Bolmeister with another shift in this game, so he appears to be in the regular rotation for the time being. He's playing out there with McCarthy right now. This is McCarthy with the puck here. Bolmeister has Ryder breaking up the middle, tried to feed him, but the pass wasn't quite true that time.
That's what Julian wants him to do, is just feed that puck forward.
Here's Chouinard moving in. Ribeiro back lead in front of the net. It just rolled by Chouinard. Good jump there by Canada from the neutral zone in. Back the other way. Horner with a shot. That sizzles up around the boards. Irgl after it. He was checked. Ryder coming back across center for Canada. Got across center and just steered it in. 6 minutes to go in this first period. 1-0 Canada leading. David working it up ahead. Yaroslav Svoboda fights his way in over the line, got the shot away. Some nice strength displayed there by Svoboda as he shook off the hook and got a shot on goal. Havlat in the corner, dancing around, looking for some support. Vazicek up there to help out. They grind it along the boards. Reed gets it out of the zone.
Intense game. The Czechs are really working hard out there. They're driving hard.
This is Kinch. And he will come slowly out. Kinch out towards center. Tried to steer it up along the boards. It was knocked away. That was Lundmark trying to kick it into gear. Heatley hooks his man down, and he will go to the penalty box. Heatley put the hook on Kutlak, and the Czechs will go on the power play for the third time in this game. But it is Canada that has the 1-0 lead, courtesy of a goal from Brandon Reed.
For every guy who'd rather swing a club than dance in one. For every guy who's ever prepared a gourmet meal. For every guy who knows exactly why they're man's best friend. And for every guy who appreciates the benefits of being a guy, we'd like to introduce you to the Dodge Durango. It has the most cargo space, towing capacity, and power of any SUV in its class. The Dodge Durango. It's good to be a guy.
Well, Canada got things going before Reed's goal by finally getting the puck in deep, and then watch the pressure they put on David right here. David ends up giving up the puck, and that's what Canada felt they could do in this game. They felt that there were some defensemen for the Czechs that could give the puck up if they were bumped, and that's exactly what Canada did, and as a result got a scoring opportunity from it. Danny Heatley is in the penalty box for hooking Canada back, killing penalties one more time.
That's Heatley's second penalty of the game. He took a penalty right off the bat when he high-sticked the Czech player, and he gets called there for hooking. Czechs are 0 for 2 in the power play, 3 shots. And Peter Svoboda back to pick it up. And this is the A unit out there for the Czechs. Vazicek, Kraft, and Havlat. Civic up back of the goal. He was pulled down by Jackson, perhaps embellished somewhat. Here's Kraft. Kraft works it back to the blue line. Svoboda with a wrist shot, knocked down, loose in front. Civic with a jab at it, another jab, and Ouellette makes the save and holds on with 1:15 to go on the power play.
The SO Medals and Certificates of Achievement program rewards youngsters across Canada with most dedicated, most sportsmanlike, and most improved player medals, and reinforces team commitment with Certificates of Achievement for each member. SO, proud supporters of the CHA.
Well, here's one of the problems Bob McKenzie was talking about. Canada's worried about not being overly aggressive in this area, folks, but all of a sudden there's some loose pucks. there's 3 Czech players standing around, but Canada normally in a game would start banging those bodies and clearing them out, but they're afraid of ending up in the penalty box.
Well, that's just it. I think they have to be a little gun-shy, seeing a couple of the calls, particularly the charging call.
Absolutely, agreed.
Willett down there to make the save. That was Havlat coming out of the corner. He was allowed to walk right out. And that was a nice stop by Willett.
But at the same time, if they don't clear those bodies out in front of Willett, Willett's going to have to look to be a little sharper on those second and third opportunities.
Kraft gets it in over the blue line, bounces loose, and Bell was there to pounce on it, and he clears it. 40 seconds left in the power play.
And when I say a little sharper, not that he hasn't been sharp, but the goaltender's supposed to take care of the first shot, the defenseman, the rebounds.
Hornet clearing it up there. Christek after it. Gets it back. Hornet is parked out in front. Svoboda looking for him. Hornet's number 10 there, just off the edge of the slot. Puck drilled on goal. Will let the save. It's still loose. Svoboda with a jab at it. This is Yaroslav Svoboda along the boards. Works it back to the line. Puck ripped just wide by Kutlak. McCarthy drills it up around the boards. Kutlak there to keep it in. 5 seconds left in the power play. Good pressure here from the Czechs. Hornet is loose in front, but it's broken up, and Canada weathers the storm. And again, more confidence being shown in the youngster, Jay Bouwmeester. Bouwmeester was out there in the late stages of that penalty kill.
Well, I'll tell you the reason why, though, Paul, because he's 6'3", and he's got good skill level. So when you can't play overly aggressively in front, you got to at least have the ability to get rid of the puck.
He has looked pretty confident for the youngest guy ever to wear the uniform for Canada in this tournament.
Bouwmeester getting lots of ice time now, and again, as the reason I pointed out, this guy right here, and he is big. He's got lots of capabilities skill-wise, but he's also pretty cool and calm when he's got possession of the puck. Great puck skills, and so you can put him out there when you're killing penalties because he can find those loose pucks in front of the net, and he actually found one and dumped it up and out of the zone.
Christek clears it in. Malhotra throwing it all the way across for Jackman. Returns the favor, gets it up for Bauk. He couldn't knock it down. Kutlak trying to come in. He was stopped. Canada with a 1-0 lead. Brandon Reed with the goal at 12:08. Danny Heatley with the assist. Here's Civic along the boards. They pedal it around back of the net for Kraft. Jackman trying to tie him up. Civic on the wraparound. Right in front. The puck was batted away. Michael Civic wrapped it around from behind the goal, and I don't know that the puck sat for him because he didn't get a great shot away on the wraparound.
Ouellette had a little bit of help, though, and he needed that help. The Czechs ended up freeing up that puck, and Manny Malhotra was standing in front and ended up helping out by playing goal. Ouellette was looking for the puck. He went to the right. The puck came out the left. You see how Malhotra just took a dive for it to try to get that puck out of danger. He knew that Ouellette had got caught out of position. That's the toughest spot for a goaltender, when that puck's behind the net. Which way is it coming out?
That was a great play by Malhotra. I thought the puck was wobbling around on Civic. No way. That was Malhotra making the block. Ryder up after it. Ribeiro up there as well. Chouinard, the other forward for Canada. Puck comes up ahead. Here comes Irgl, looking for support in front. Over to the corner, Hornet going after it. Ribeiro rings it up around the boards for Chouinard. McCarthy chops it out. Irgl working it across. Ryder gets it in over the line, driving deep as Chouinard. Tried to get it out in front for Ryder. Less than a minute to go in the period. And Canada up 1-0. Hornet battling towards the corner. Svoboda up there, tapped at it. This is Kinch for Canada. .30 seconds to go in the opening period. Biron for Canada. Up along the boards for Lundmark to Reed. Reed pushing it to the corner. Heatley's after it. Back of the goal, Heatley tied up with Hayek. And the puck cleared out by the Czechs. 10 seconds to go in the period. And an icing call on the Czech Republic. Make that 9 seconds to go in the period, and Canada gets a face-off in the offensive zone.
And probably a little sigh of relief here with only 9 seconds remaining and that face-off deep. Canada has I think they should escape anyway this first period with a 1-0 lead, thanks to Ouellette and the penalty killers for Team Canada. Once again, Canada taking way too many penalties in this first period of play, but their penalty killers and Ouellette have done an outstanding job.
Reed on the face-off, gets it back. Heatley looking for it there. Ian Kinch jam it up there at the line, and a penalty called. 2 seconds to go.
This is a change.
The penalty goes against the Czech Republic.
He's picking it up for hooking.
It's Martin Havlat in the penalty box.
Ottawa's first-round draft pick last summer, 26th overall. Havlat right here ends up hanging on to the stick more than he was hooking. He was hanging on to Heatley's stick. That's why he got the penalty.
And that's the call, holding the stick. Much to the chagrin of Yaroslav Holik.
Yeah, whose team played pretty well this first period, but they couldn't finish. It's a team that's got pretty good offensive capabilities, and they have had numerous power play opportunities and haven't been able to connect.
So Canada will regroup, and the bonus for them is that they will start the second period off on the power play for the first minute and 58 seconds. 1-0 is the score. Lots coming up in our first intermission. Here's Gord Miller.
All right, thank you, Paul. Bob McKenzie will stop by with his analysis from the opening period. Eric Chouinard is featured in Canadian Classics, and we'll have a TSN Tonight update. Canada with a 1-0 lead after the first period. TSN's live coverage of the 2000 World Junior Hockey Championship continues in a moment here on TSN.
Play. In 1996, e-commerce transactions totaled $2.8 billion. By 2003, it will be $1.3 trillion. Can your network cope? AT&T. The network the world works on. Washington, the Hurricane.
That's cool. Get ready for a really extreme winter. New cycle ski available at bike shops across the country. It's only $2.99.
'Tis the season, old rivalries and new beginnings. Kick off the Millennium celebrations with a College Bowl feast. The Alamo Bowl. See it, live it. TSN.
The main square in Skellefteå, Sweden, where they're getting set like so many people are for their Millennium celebrations coming up in just a few days. Welcome back to the World Junior Hockey Championship. Gord Miller with Bob McKenzie. Bob, a couple of things to talk about in that opening period. Number one, the puck was in the Canadian end. It seemed like the entire opening period, and yet the Canadians have a 1-0 lead.
Gord, I can assure you that was not the game plan for Team Canada. Gary Green talked about it off the top. The idea is to get the puck and chip it by the defenseman. Not so much dump and chase, but put it into the zone, just into the corner or very shallow in the Czech end and try to get some pressure on the defense. But in fact, it was the other way around. The Czechs did a great job of coming in and dominating down low in the Canadian end. Now, certainly power plays give you the momentum to do that. But this Czech team is a very big team, arguably the biggest team in the tournament. And I thought they physically dominated Canada down behind the goal line, winning the one-on-one battles. And that's something, a trend that's got to be reversed in the second period.
There are probably some television sets in Canada that were nearly smashed after some of those penalty calls. And listen, we've been coming over here for a long time. European refereeing isn't like ours. It's just that simple. And the Canadians got a dose of it again in the first period.
No, the referee is an anti-Canadian. He's simply European. And Christer Larking from Sweden is calling a game differently. And the classic case in point would be the final penalty that he called of the period. The Czechs got a hooking penalty. What was effectively 8 seconds left in the period. The puck is almost in the neutral zone, and a Czech player just ties up his man going for the puck and gets a penalty for it. That would never be a penalty back home in North America any more than Joe Roulier's hit when he just barely left his feet and tried to stop going into a Czech defender would be called charging. So it's not a case of the referee out to get Canada. It's the referee calling a different frame of reference from what we're used to, and more often than not, I guess that could hurt Canada.
Roulier did not get a shift, by the way, after that penalty, and of course he took a couple of penalties in the first game, and that means that 16-year-old Jay Bouwmeester is suddenly a man very much in the spotlight for Canada.
Yeah, it could be a big turning point in this tournament, certainly for Bouwmeester and Roulier. Bouwmeester, the 16-year-old, just a terrific skater. This kid is so strong, but what he also is very big. And the Canadian defense is not a real huge defense. They've got Matthew Biron, who's gigantic at 6'5", 6'6", and Kyle Rosser's a big man as well. Next to that, Roulier is probably the next biggest defender, but Bouwmeester is 6'3", and he's a big, strong kid who can really rumble out there. So it's obvious that they've got a lot of confidence in him, and you knew that maybe the tide had turned for Bouwmeester in this tournament when they threw him out 30 seconds left in a penalty-killing situation, and Bouwmeester was out there. So now all of a sudden, lots of confidence for the youngster.
All right, Bob, we'll keep our eyes on you down between the benches. You keep your eye on the action on the ice. We'll be back with more of TSN's live coverage of the 2000 World Junior Hockey Championship in just a moment from Skellefteå, Sweden.
This is our art. We sculpt in metal, paint in G-forces. You won't find our work in museums, for we are artists of the streets. Our art places form in harmony with function, moves body and soul. Cars are our passion. Engineering is our art. Acura.
My dad's just moved in with us. He's quite a character. Very disciplined, very organized. And that's going to be difficult with two very active little boys. I know his appearance is very important to him. He keeps those shirts of his spotless. I don't want them to end up dingy when they get thrown in the wash with the kids' dirty stuff.
Tide's Clean Rinse formula helps prevent dirt in the wash water from redepositing on clothes, so your whites come out clean and bright.
I think they're going to learn a lot from each other.
McDonald's has these retro hockey cards out right now. They include rookie cards of hockey greats like Paul Kariya, Jaromir Jagr. I'm very touched they recognize me in this way. I know my teammates are very proud of me too. I know that. I can feel it.
Retro hockey cards featuring rookie cards of the greatest players in the game, including this year's newest stars. 69 cents with any Fry purchase, plus a chance to win autographed NHL merchandise.
Here we go, fishies.
The great white shark has 2 rows of razor-sharp teeth.
You got a real home now.
Capable of cutting a man in 2 in a single bite.
Now, where'd I put that food?
With 9 times better picture quality and Dolby Digital sound, Star Choice is the first satellite TV provider to broadcast in true high definition for a real-life experience. Star Choice. It's your television.
Here we go. Fishies.
Voracious hunter that will be.
Emergency. Hello?
The best thing of playing hockey is probably to win. I think every hockey player has to find winning and excitement, and it's very exciting to be able to win. To play for Canada means a lot to me. It's a big opportunity for a hockey player. It's Canada is recognized for its gold medals and all the tradition behind Canada. My role model probably is my father. He was also a hockey player, and he's the one that I always went to get some things and some little tricks on hockey and all kinds of things on hockey. So he's my role model.
I am the Rocky Mountains. 100 million years I have stood here. This I know. Lead with the left, follow with the right. Buy low, sell high. Look for windows of opportunity. Take the road less traveled. Keep your stick on the ice. The grass really is greener on the other side. And always maintain an open door policy.
When the male is in pursuit of the female, the slightest scent of unpleasantness may send the female running. Thus, I recommend Right Guard Clear Gel or Clear Stick. Antiperspirant protection from odor and wetness that glides on clear with no flaky white stuff.
How far is the female?
A good 70 yards, mate.
I've made longer passes than that before. Right Guard, Clear Gel, and Clear Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Never let a small thing stand in your way, 'cause the world's yours to embrace. With all your heart you must follow, keep your eyes on tomorrow, follow what's deep inside you, and do what you gotta do. Faith in you, out of all the things.
It's time for all Canadians to make a commitment to better our hockey programs. Esquire and the Canadian Hockey Association are working together to develop minor hockey in Canada. $1 from each Esquire watch sold between October and March will go directly to the sponsorship and growth of minor hockey. Check out tsn.ca/ESQ or your participating Esquire dealer. Tell us about your team of superstars. They could receive Bauer merchandise and be the next Team Esquire stars to say,
Wednesday, share that holiday spirit with TSN. The Canadiens and the Senators exchange season's greetings for viewers in the Canadiens area, while Sports Desk and College Football's Holiday Bowl share the national spotlight. Get it all on TSN.
Welcome to the TSN Newsroom. I'm Bob Pronick. Hope you're enjoying the hockey game. The Carolina Hurricanes are again frustrated in contract negotiations with restricted free agent Keith Primo. They've now issued the big forward an ultimatum. Canes GM Jim Rutherford has given Primo a deadline of today to accept the team's contract offer. If he doesn't, Rutherford says Primo won't play this season. The team is offering a 2-year, $6 million contract, while Primo hasn't budged from his demand of a 4-year deal worth $17 million. Primo is a restricted free agent, so any team can sign the 20-year-old to an offer sheet, but none have chosen to do so. Coming up on the network tonight, those in the Raptors region will see Toronto's game against Houston at 8:30. The national audience will see Penn State and Texas A&M in the Alamo Bowl beginning at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time. In other news, Dynamo BC's Alison Forsyth finished second today at GS in Austria. We'll get you back to the game in a moment.
It's a Canadian game.
Avoid the lineups and shop online at chapters.ca right now to take advantage of huge Boxing Week specials on books, music, videos, DVDs, and software.
For every guy who knows clean is a relative term. For every guy with the ability to follow more than 3 programs at once. For every guy who sees no reason to dirty another glass. And for every guy who'd rather not spend the weekend in a mall. We'd like to introduce you to the Dodge Durango. It has the most cargo space, towing capacity, and power of any SUV in its class. The Dodge Durango, it's good to be a guy.
See it, live it. TSN.
Welcome back. Paul Romanuk along with Gary Green, Gord Miller, and Bob McKenzie at the Skellefteå Ice Stadium, where it is very icy. It's a lot colder in this building than it was in Canada's first game, and the ice looks a lot better.
Oh, it was not good in the first game. Now something different too. Canada's on the power play.
So Canada starting things off with the man advantage. Richards along the boards. This is Chouinard. Up to Richards. Back to the line. Quick release, drilled right on goal there by Steve McCarthy, and it was knocked away by Schmid. But that puck was not on McCarthy's stick for even half a second. He just let go of it. McCarthy out towards center, works it across. Ribeiro chops it in. McCarthy wheeling up after it. He had Bell and Chouinard breaking towards the front of the net. And the puck cleared down the ice. 1:05 to go in Canada's man advantage. And again, without that center ice line for the purposes of offside passes, you can get the forward way up there. Here's Chouinard going after. Puck fired up around the boards, and it just gets by Chouinard. Richards back to pick it up. 35 seconds left in Canada's power play. Richards feeds it ahead for Heatley. Heatley down into the corner. Kutlak watching him. Heatley, who had a strong first period, gets it loose to Bout. Bout looking for somebody in front. Had to go back to Kinch. There was nobody right in front of the goal. Now Bout coming into the corner. Working there with Heatley. Malhotra up in the play as well. This is Kutlak. Gets a little bit of help and gets it down the ice. Only 4 seconds left in Canada's power play. Havlat is set to step back onto the ice.
That was the use of that good long pass right up to Bout.
Bout gets it up ahead to Heatley. Works it around for Malhotra. Cycles it back down to Heatley. Out there for Malhotra. And he was just hooked up in the play, and the puck went off his stick. Czech's breaking back quickly. Havlat comes in, drops it down, open net, and he finds it. Martin Havlat, who stepped out of the box, got right into the play, and he was set up beautifully and able to finish off, and we're tied.
Well, unfortunately for Canada, though, Jackman ended up getting caught up with the play right there, folks, and then that ended up creating the 2-on-1 opportunity. Now watch Ouellette here. He thought the shot was coming, and instead there was the pass. Ouellette came out to play the shot, and on a 2-on-1 he was caught way too far out of his net. Havlat had a pretty easy time of finding lots of open space.
Havlat gets the goal, and Vasicek will pick up an assist.
No surprise that those two connected. Both great offensive players. Havlat, a very gifted scorer, and loves to drive to that net. Not that he had anyone standing in his way, but at 6'2", 181 pounds. The big guy at a young age already showed his prowess to be real cool and calm with the puck.
Holmeister fires it in, and that is stopped and held. So we are all tied up with that Czech goal, but let's look back at the first period. First period scoring summary is brought to you by Gatorade. Is it in you? Re-scoring the goal for Canada, Heatley with an assist.
I want to take you back to Canada's first goal. This is Biron way back here, folks. Now watch what he does. He's got good possession of the puck. A nice pass up to Heatley, and then Heatley over to Reed. But for some reason, Biron didn't get an assist.
An interference penalty coming up right off the face-off. Yeah, they've been very stingy with the assists in the first couple of games. Again, you go back to what Bob and Gord were talking about. It's just European officiating. I've found that over the years coming over to the World Hockey Championship in this tournament, Gary. They don't tend to give the second assist as often as they do in the NHL.
Yeah, no excuse for that one because it was a perfect second assist.
Yeah, I mean, obviously should have been an assist. There's the interference
right
penalty.
There, folks. Oh, I'm sorry, it was here. Could have been up top. The way that this is called.
So Canada with its second power play chance of the game. McCarthy back at the blue line, works it up. McCarthy and Richards are back at the line. And this is McCarthy. Pounds one, and that is tipped. And play whistled down. And the Canadian player was in the crease, so the play is whistled down immediately, and they move the face-off back outside the blue line. That's Yuri David in the penalty box for interference, and Canada still with 1:45 remaining in its power play.
He's tall, but hasn't put on an awful lot of beef yet. 6'3", only 176 pounds. This Czech team's got pretty good height, but they're a little light.
Ribeiro, Bell, and Chouinard up front for Canada on the power play. McCarthy back at the blue line with Brad Richards. Richards normally a forward. Up ahead for Chouinard. This is off. Here's Ribeiro. Ribeiro trying to get it across. It comes to McCarthy. He chopped at it. And that is grabbed and held by Schmid. Take a look at between the boards in the first period, brought to you by Molson Canadian. It's a Canadian game. Power play 0 for 3 for the Czechs. Canada getting its first power play to start off the second period.
Watch how Schmid really has to stretch it out here, folks. The goaltender for the Czechs had to do the splits, and boy, you could see that from post to post, he covered the net. He's only 5'9", 169 pounds, but he covered an awful lot of room when he did the splits. A skate on both posts.
Schmid, not drafted, plays in the Czech Elite League, and he's started now all 3 games for the Czech Republic in the tournament. Heading into this one, he'd given up 4 goals on 52 shots. Off the drive, ping-ponged back to Richards, works it up towards the front of the net. Chouinard was being marked, and the puck fired off the boards and out. 1:10 to go in Canada's power play. Here comes Richards, up to McCarthy. Bell is with him there along the boards. He drops it back. Up around back of the net. Ribeiro gets it out. Chouinard was all set to pull the trigger and then got run over there by Havlat. 43 seconds left in the power play.
Canada on their first power play were able to make that long pass. When they tried it again this time, there was nobody there.
Richards gets it up for Chouinard, right down Main Street with a backhand shot. Schmid stopped that. Puck back at the goal. Chouinard battling away. Here's McCarthy. Here's Richards. There's the shot, and that's kicked away. A wild rebound went off the side of the net, and now the puck cleared. 15 seconds left in the power play. Maybe Canada can get one more rush here. McCarthy throws it up ahead. Heatley at the blue line. He was stopped up. Malhotra looking for an opening. Tried to get it up to Bauk. Puck bounces down. Nielsen's up there. Kinch shooting. That stop. Loose in front. They battle away. And Schmid able to cover it up. So Canada can't score one on the power play. They are tied at 1.
Hi, I'm Wayne Gretzky. During the week of January 15th to January 22nd, 600,000 Canadian members will receive a package. In this package from the CHA will be a CHA logo patch that you can sew on either your jersey or your hockey pants. So be sure to check your mailbox in January for your package. Remember, wear your logo with pride. Be part of the great Canadian team, the CHA.
And welcome back. Second period is brought to you by Ford Focus 2000. Expect more.
I'll talk about focus. That's exactly what Claude Julien wants out of his team right now. Lots of focus. On that last shift, they got the puck to the net well. They were moving their feet. They were moving the puck. Julien's got to like that shift. But he sure didn't like the first period.
How do you like Canada's power play? We've had a pretty good look at it now for about a game and a half.
Well, this team is very capable of moving the puck well. They're good passers. And if they use that big open ice to their advantage out there and move the puck well, they'll get their chances.
Puck fired there, hit a skate on the way through and didn't make it. Cornet in over the line. Getting it up ahead. Irgl. Tied up there by McCarthy. And play whistle down. Another interference call.
Canada's looking around to see who's getting it.
Well, it's going.
Roulier's hoping that he's not the one getting it because he finally got back out in the ice.
It's Irgl heading to the box.
I'll tell you, I think the most relieved guy in the ice, though, is probably Joe Roulier.
So Canada with another chance in the power play. They are 0 for 2, have 4 shots on goal with the man advantage.
Watch Irgl on McCarthy right here, folks. They're battling away in the corner, and Irgl then just wraps his arm around McCarthy. And to be honest, I'm not sure that I would have given Irgl a penalty for that. But the referee's being consistent.
Here comes Tyler Bauk. He's up there with Heatley and Malhotra to start things in the power play. trying to work it across in front, and that was knocked down. Biron is back at the blue line.
Good play with Biron, though, with his feet. He was able to take that 2-on-1 opportunity away by using his feet and stopping the puck.
Icing called on Canada. Kinch tried to fire it up there along the boards and didn't hit the intended receiver. A minute 35 to go in Canada's power play.
I've really been impressed in the first game anyway, and also here today with Matthew Biron. The New York Islander defenseman who has been pretty solid defensively. I like his size. Bob McKenzie talked about it in the first intermission. He's 6'6", 212 pounds. And I like the way he's also been moving his feet out there. He plays this 2-on-1 perfectly. Once he realized he had an opportunity here to take that puck away, he used his feet and then his stick and was able to get his team out of danger.
Christek along the boards being tied up by Biron. Heatley trying to coax it loose. And Malhotra starts off with 1:16 to go in the power play. Pass up to Bout. That went off his skate. And it's fired back down the ice by Yindra. And a Czech player is down. That's Kutlak, I believe, in neutral territory. Bob McKenzie is right down there with this happening right in front of him. What does it look like, Bob?
Oh, all of a sudden a penalty's being called here. Referee going over to the box. He never called anything that I saw, but I was going to talk about the rest of this power play, which is now non-existent. I saw Jason Spezza getting up and shaking his legs off as though he may be getting a chance to get into the game, but that penalty to Tyler Bout for tripping will obviously nullify the Canadian power play and any chance Spezza had of getting into the game.
Well, let's take a look at it and see whether or not we can determine how it happened. Right there it is, folks. Oh, yeah. Bout looked as though he may have taken the feet out from underneath of Kutlak. And that's why he's in there. He gets it for tripping, so that's obviously what the referee must have assumed as well. But Bob McKenzie was right. It wasn't being called until after the whistle went. And then the referee had a conference with his linesman, and that's what ended up resulting in the penalty to Bout.
I've seen that a few times here, notably the other night in the U.S. game. Late in the game, the referee, and it wasn't this referee, Christer Larking, but there was a trip away from the play down in the corner. Play continued, but the opposing player stayed down on the ice, and then there was a little conference, and it was actually the linesman who made the call.
Yeah, you know something, I don't have a problem with that either, because if it's a penalty, it should be called. And so for the referee to refer to the linesman, it's fine with me. In the National Hockey League, we have 2 referees. It's a little bit easier.
I would think they will eventually go to that in international hockey. It's such a good way to call a game.
Well, I should say we've got 2 referees for a lot more games now.
Teams at even strength for the next 40 seconds, and the Czechs will have a power play. Kraft almost snuck away there, but the puck rolling in, and it is covered up and held by Ouellet. Gord Miller is working the crowd as he usually does at the World Junior Tournament, and he is with Brian Burke of the Vancouver Canucks. Gord?
Brian, there's a lot of good draft eligible players here, but I take it you're here to keep your eye on the 2 guys you took in the first round last year, the Sedins.
Well, I'm here. I think the Canadian team should support the Canadian program, and I'm here for that, and keep an eye on the 2 Sedin twins mostly. I hope we don't get a shot at some of these Canadian kids that are going to go real high in the draft down the road.
Daniel Sedin left today's game. Any word on how serious his injury is?
Thomas Gerdin, our Swedish scout, says that he had a sore knee, and it was precautionary. He's expected to play, and it shouldn't be a problem.
When you look at these guys, the 2 Sedins, do you project them as being in the NHL and playing for your team next year?
No question. I mean, it's when we drafted them before and during the draft and afterwards, they were very honest about their plans to go back and play for Modo for 1 more year. But they are signed, and they will be with us in the fall. They'll actually join us here. We're having training camp here. They'll join us in Stockholm and go from there.
Good luck, Brian.
Thanks, Gord.
Teams at even strength for the next 23 seconds. And then the Czechs will go on a power play. This is Yindra. Bump there at center, but he fires the puck in and his team gets called for icing. Just to get back to Brian Burke and Gord's conversation there, what do you think about both Sedins playing in the NHL next year? I mean, not that they lack the talent, but are they going to have an impact?
Well, it's going to be a big jump for them. There's no question about that. I mean, it is for any young player coming into the league, and especially players that haven't played, you know, 80, 90, 100 games in junior hockey as well, as the Sedins won't have an opportunity to do. But at the same time, there's no question they are talented kids. I don't know of many talented young kids, though, that have made a huge impact on a team in their very first season in the NHL, especially at that age. But time will tell, Paul. And they will get an opportunity.
In 5 seconds, the Czechs will go on the power play. Here's Pettinger with some good hustle along the boards. And now trying to eat up some time. Czechs now in the power play for the next 48 seconds. Up across center. Niederrost almost deked his way right through and couldn't quite hang on to the puck to get a shot away. This is Peter Svoboda. He'll tee it up there for Kraft. Kraft working the puck up ahead. Havlat. Vasicek fires it up. Simic looking for it. Kraft in the corner. Had it roll away from him. That's Bell up the middle for Canada, but the pass was knocked down. 10 seconds left in the Czech power play. Peter Svoboda along the boards. Svoboda trying to get it out in front. Here's Simic dancing around there, back of the goal. Out for Kraft, snapped it across. That was cleared away by Rossiter. And Belk back out onto the ice. The team's at even strength. Here's Havlat, steps in, drops it off. Simic shooting, wired that one for the corner. A nice blocker save by Ouellet. Puck knocked down in front. Simic cutting it on goal. He'll wrap it around. Havlat trying to get it in front. Got it back. It was whistled wide by David. Kutlak skating back for the Czechs. Played 8 minutes and 30 seconds of the second period. Canada and the Czech Republic are tied at 1. Puck tucked across. Niederrost shooting. That's stopped by Ouellet. Big rebound came out, but was grabbed by Malhotra.
A good back checking by Malhotra. Ouellet stopped the first one. Malhotra got the rebound.
And Malhotra bumping there in neutral territory with Horna. A couple of big players. And then Malhotra mixes it up along the boards with Kerstead. Meanwhile, play continues. Long pass up ahead for Horna. Bouwmeester watching him. And the puck fired down the ice. And it's an icing call on Canada. 1-1 is the score. It's winter here. Lots of snow and a very Christmas-like atmosphere.
Never let a small thing stand in your way. With all your heart you must follow. Keep your eyes on tomorrow. Follow what's deep inside you and do what you gotta do. Faith in you. Out of all the faith in you.
Well, if this guy has a really good satellite dish or the internet, he might be able to catch That's Hockey with Vic Grounder. He's going to catch a cold is what he's going to catch if he doesn't get dressed. I mentioned earlier the rink here is much, much colder than it was for the first game. I gather they have had orders to turn the heat down, and the ice seems faster and less snowy, which will make the players happy.
I thought that guy came right out of the sauna.
Let's bring in Bob McKenzie again. What's up, Mac?
Well, Canadian team assistant coach Todd McLellan is talking to his defenseman, and what's happening now are the Czechs are really looking for that long pass. And Todd McLellan wants his defenseman not to back off at the Canadian blue line, but to be right up on the man who's receiving that pass right in his face. They think they're giving up too much ice to him and allowing that long pass to connect.
Todd McLellan, the coach and general manager of Swift Current in the Western Hockey League. Played the New York Islanders organization, also played in Europe, so familiar with his big ice surface.
I want to find out from Bob, who is right between the benches.
How cold it is there?
No, I can answer that, but the Czechs very protective. I mean, they wouldn't tell you who the starting goalie was. They threw a radio reporter out of practice yesterday. Puck across in front, nice save by Ouellet. Vasicek was moving in. He'll get another chance, and Ouellet will make another save. A couple of good chances for Joseph Vasicek, and Ouellet was equal to the task both times. Moving in for Canada is Heatley. Feathers it up ahead. Reed trying to get it back out in front. Lundmark is lurking there in the slot, but they couldn't get it to him. Back the other way. Sivic shoots one. That was a hot shot pulled down by Ouellette. And another icing call on Canada. One the score. We played 10:21 in the second period. And again, just to get back to Bob McKenzie, our ice side reporter, so to speak, I can't see that the Czechs have put up a big wall or anything to block them out from their bench yet, but they've been very secretive.
Yeah, but they don't have to because they know Mac can't speak Czech, so they're just going about their business.
Here's Biron. And whoops, a swing and a miss there by Biron.
Oh, but that ice is getting pretty snowy again.
Bout gets it up ahead. Nielsen charging. He tried to backhand it towards the front. He had Malhotra with him. There's a shot grabbed by Schmid, and he will hang on to it. Great hustle there by Malhotra to turn on the Jets and get up so that he was a possibility, at least, for a pass out in front.
Well, Manny Malhotra, I think, is going to get better as this tournament goes on. He's always in great shape, but he hasn't had an opportunity to really get in game shape. He played so little for the New York Rangers this year, and he's a young man that needs lots of ice time. And he's getting it in this tournament.
Playing a much bigger role this time than he did back with the team in Helsinki. He played on a line on that team with Steve Bégin and J.P. Dumont for most of the tournament. Well, Manny Malhotra not seeing as much ice time as he would have liked this year with the Rangers, but boy, he can impress. That was a nice move there to pick up a goal.
That
playing about 4 minutes. Yeah, last year. He's playing about 4 minutes a game with the Rangers this year. Puck fired on goal there. Schmid knocked it away. Another shot that Schmid stopped. Right out in front, Ribeiro was parked off the edge of the crease. Svoboda gets it up along the boards. Ribeiro getting it up to the corner. Ryder. Ribeiro moving after it. Now Hornet being chased by Ryder. A little bit of a pick run there by Kertsev, and I believe we're going to have a penalty called. That's an interference call, and that's a good call because it run by Kertsev to take Ryder out, who was chasing the puck carrier.
Well, that line has got to put some pressure on Chouinard, Ribeiro, and Ryder. They're good offensively. They're playing really against the Czechs' third and fourth lines today, so they've got to end up plus. There's the pick, as you could see, which sent the Czech defender off to the penalty box. At the same time, that line for the Canadians started to move their feet and started to create something out there, something they didn't get an opportunity to do in the first.
So Canada with another chance on the power play. It'll be their fourth power play of the game. And it's Malhotra lining up to take the face-off. He's out there with Bauk and Heatley up front. They have Richards, the forward, back at the left point, and Steve McCarthy over at the right point. Hayek rings it up around the boards and out. McCarthy being pursued there by Vazicek. Malhotra to Heatley, trying to create a bit of room. He'll set things up, back to Richards, back up to Heatley. Down low to Malhotra. Bauk was out in front, looking for a tip or a loose puck. They couldn't get it there. And shorthanded, Vazicek will just rag that puck. Now he gave it away there. McCarthy hops in over the blue line, dishes off to Richards. Got a weak shot away. That was cleared by Schmid. And the rebound is cleared down the ice. 1:15 to go on the power play. Here comes Richards. Malhotra up to McCarthy. Just clears it in. Chouinard moving up there. Richards at the line. and not able to keep it in. 50 seconds left in the power play. Ouellette clears it up around the boards. Kraft is there to knock it down. Gets it up to the corner, and now McCarthy controls. 40 seconds to go in the power play. Pass up ahead for Bell. He's got some room. Fakes the shot. Bell trying to get around Kutlak, and he was upended. Biron works it over. Kinch clearing it in. Ribeiro fires it around. Chouinard going after it. He and Yindra. There's Bell. Ribeiro. 15 seconds to go in the power play. Kinch over to Biron. Tried to pass it across. Ribeiro was open on the left side of the slot, but the pass was intercepted. Christek up after it. He was bounced by Biron. And Kinch, long pass up to Chouinard. Penalized player is back on, but here comes Ribeiro. Offside called on Canada. We've played 13:24 of the second period. Canada and the Czech Republic all tied up.
I am the Rocky Mountains. 100 million years I have stood here. This I know. Lead with the left, follow with the right. Buy low, sell high. Look for windows of opportunity. Take the road less traveled. Keep your stick on the ice. The grass really is greener on the other side. And always maintain an open door policy.
National women's teams of Canada and the U.S. meeting in the TSN Challenge. That's All-Star Weekend in Toronto. Tickets available. Call the number at the bottom of your screen. That was a great game a couple of years ago when those two teams played during the Olympic year when the All-Star game was in Vancouver at GM Place. Puck fired in by Jackman. Pettinger up in the corner. Knocked away by Hornet. Kertsev back to Hornet. A wrist shot and a high sticking penalty coming up against Canada.
Yeah, Brandon Reed's going to get nailed for this one for sure, and he deserved it.
Yeah, he got the stick up on Hornet just as he was coming in over the blue line.
Brandon Reed was doing some hooking from behind, and that hook ended up going a little too high. Watch right at center ice and watch Reed right here, folks. He ends up getting that stick up initially, I think, to try to hook the Czech player's elbow, which will just send him off balance a bit, but then he ended up following through all the way up to the player's face, and Reed sits in the penalty box for that reason.
Reed was Canada's goal scorer back in the first period.
And he's eligible for this summer's NHL draft. He's got good speed and quickness, as we've seen. This is his first international experience.
One of those guys, I think, who's a coach's pick. He plays in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, which is where Claude Julien coaches, plays for Halifax. Wasn't at the summer evaluation camp, but the coach would be familiar with him, seeing him all the time in league play, and say, hey, you know, we've got an opening.
We could use a guy like this.
Let's bring this guy in and take a look at him.
And he is not disappointed so far.
So the Czechs, with their 5th power play of the game, they have 9 shots on goal. Haven't scored yet, though. 0 for 4 in the power play. Svoboda
nice
quarterbacking it, moving it up. Delayed penalty on Canada. Peter Svoboda trying to get it through. Tyler Bouk got in front of it, but here comes trouble. The Czechs staring at a 2-man advantage for the next minute and 47 seconds.
I can see that one coming. Rossiter did exactly the same thing that Reed had just done. He ended up getting his stick way too high, right up around the Czech player's face, and as a result got a high sticking penalty for it. So lots of open ice for the Czechs now. Right in front of the net. Watch Rossiter right here, folks, and watch what he does with his stick. That's just undisciplined. Those type of penalties can cost Canada.
Well, he picks up a double minor is what they put up on the clock.
And I'm not going to argue that one.
He gets a double minor for high sticking.
He brought that stick right up into the player's face, and I can't argue that one, folks.
So this could be big trouble for Canada. A double minor for high sticking to Kyle Rossiter. And a two-man advantage now for the Czech Republic for the next minute 47. And no surprise to see Manny Malhotra out there on the penalty kill. And he was slammed into the boards, and there'll be a penalty against Peter Svoboda.
I guess so.
Well, great hustle by Malhotra.
Yeah, Malhotra really got crunched from behind by big Peter Svoboda. And we mentioned earlier Svoboda's size, 6'3", 209 pounds, and he crunched Malhotra right from behind into the boards. That was a dangerous play. Malhotra went racing for the puck. Svoboda argues the penalty. I thought, first of all, that he cross-checked him, though, and I mean, that's what he gets the penalty for. He ran him into the boards a little bit more than he cross-checked him, but nevertheless, Malhotra was shaken up on the play.
But he is going to stay out there. And lots of room out there. It will be a 4-on-3 advantage for the Czechs. Malhotra stays out there along with Tyler Bauk. And Biron back at the blue line. Kraft pleading his team's case with the referee, Christer Larking. Off the draw. Irgl will start things off. And keep your eye, if you can, on number 14, Kraft. He's got the puck now. Moves in. Drops it down low. Biron pokes at it. Havlat swings it around. Top of the point for Kraft. Rips one on goal. Willette stops that. The rebound wobbling around. Irgl back for Kraft. Vizicek back for Kraft. Works it up. Irgl trying to fire one. Nice play by Biron to move across. Doing his brother proud there with that save. Here's Kraft. Works it over. Vizicek with the shot. Rebound. The chance there for Havlat. Irgl. Worked it back. Here's Kraft with a wrist shot. That hit escape. Good pressure by the Czechs with the 4-on-3 advantage. Irgl. Back for Kraft. Up for Irgl. Shoots. Hit that one wide, and it will ring around the boards and down into Czech territory. 23 seconds left in the 4-on-3. Then the teams will go to 4-on-4. Vazicek up back of the goal, relieved of the puck, bumped off the boards and down the ice by McCarthy. Yaroslav Svoboda dropping it back. Christek.
On the first shift, the Canadians had 2 forwards, 1 defenseman. Now they're back to 2 defensemen, 1 forward.
And Reed steps out of the box. The teams at even strength for 15 seconds, and then the Czechs will go back on the power play. They'll have a 5-on-4. Kutlak fires it in. Here's Yaroslav Svoboda. Fired that one. It was wide to the short side. Svoboda plays it up. Now Peter Svoboda out of the box, and the Czechs with a 5-on-4 advantage for a minute 45. This is the remainder of Rossiter's penalty. Kinch clearing it in. Svoboda gets it up around the boards. Bell. Nice job to kill off some time. Bowman clears it back in. Bell coming up after it. Almost forced a turnover there. The puck rolling to the goaltender, Schmid, and he hangs on to it.
Nike Skills Development Camps encourage minor hockey players to improve their fundamental skills of the game. Program coaching manuals provide easy, progressive techniques to teach our next generation of great players. Nike, proud supporters of the CHA.
Interesting how close Julien initially in that situation that the Canadians were faced with. Only had 3 players to choose from, and he chose 2 forwards with Biron back. He had Malhotra and Bauk out there playing up front. Really, when you're in that triangle situation, the main thing is, folks, is that you've got the abilities that for three players to be able to move around quickly. They've got to have good agility. For Biron, that's a good choice because he's got that size and reach to be able to clear those rebounds out and cut down passes. The same thing, at the same time, though, those three players have got to be interchangeable at all times. If Biron gets taken out of the play by blocking a shot, Bauk or Malhotra have got to be able to jump back and almost play that defensive role. Doesn't matter whether or not you have two forwards and one defenseman or two defensemen and one forward, as Claude Julien shows for the next shift, as long as they can all move quickly and are smart players at anticipating what's going to happen.
1 minute left in the power play for the Czech Republic. Visicek works it over. Svoboda with a shot. That drifted into Ouellette. Here's Kraft. Back for Svoboda. Svoboda waiting. Lots of traffic in front, and it was tipped just wide. Havlat was parked right in front of the goal and deflected it wide of the net. Here's Kraft. Pounded on goal by Visicek, but that was stopped, and the puck cleared out to center.
And once again, Malhotra's really good at anticipating those rebounds. He's good defensively. He's reliable. So Ouellette makes the first save, and then Malhotra is quick to jump in looking for those rebounds and clearing them out.
13 seconds left in an extended power play for the Czech Republic that is accordion from being a one-man advantage to a two-man advantage. Back to a one. In that mix, they've had 4-on-3 advantage and a 5-on-3. And Canada kills it off and come down with a scoring chance. Rossiter's out there. The puck came back and was drilled just wide by Nielsen. Nielsen and Rossiter were up on the play, and it was Nielsen who drilled it wide. And another penalty coming up. It is going to be a cross-checking call against the Czech Republic.
Come here, let me look at it. How many? 4. Look here, look here. Go. All right, do it. Go. Where's the goal?
It's a Canadian game.
Vaclav Nederost is in the penalty box, and he gets called for cross-checking.
Well, Canada had a glorious opportunity with a 3-on-1 chance.
Puck into the corner. Hayek after it. Here's McCarthy. Chouinard. Bell is parked out in front. Chouinard with it. Down low for Ribeiro. Back to Chouinard. Down for Ribeiro. Ribeiro looking for a bit of room. Richards moving in from the point. Didn't go to him. McCarthy comes up to take the pass now, and he'll work it down low. Here's Richards. Up for Ribeiro. Chouinard is poised in the slot. Richards with a shot. Chouinard gets it, fires one. Nice save by Schmid. Less than a minute to go in the period. Ribeiro in front. Richards came flashing in and wasn't able to knock it home. Here's Ribeiro. Trying to work it in front. Richards pinching up along the boards there. Chouinard at the line, and they can't keep it in. 40 seconds left in the period. Canada on the power play. Richards shovels it in. Ribeiro and Bell trying to get up there. Gindra trying to work it out. Chouinard legging after that puck, gets it to Ribeiro. Back to McCarthy. Chouinard gets it over for Richards. Off the boards, he chops it on goal. Schmid stops it and covers it up with 15 seconds to go in the period. Be sure to join us at the conclusion of this game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Rayovac.
Our battery lasts 80% longer.
We're 81% longer.
Instead of trash talk, how about some straight talk? Try Rayovac. If you don't think they're just as good, you get your money back. You can't lose. I like that.
You know, if I didn't know any better, I'd almost think by the way that Mike Ribeiro has been playing today that he's protecting a shoulder injury. Remember in the game one, he really got crunched heavily and looked as though he had hurt his right shoulder, I believe it was. Well, he seems to me to be protecting that shoulder today.
8 seconds to go in the period. Reed back after it. And that will do it for period number 2. Canada will have a power play for 12 seconds to start the third period, but they find themselves tied at 1 through 2. Second intermission coming up, and here again is your host, Gord Miller.
All right, thank you, Paul. You mean there's going to be another power play in the game? Oh, I was hoping for one. Bob McKenzie will stop by to talk about what's happened so far. Our Canadian Classic is Brandon Reed, and we'll have a TSN Tonight update when TSN's live coverage of the 2000 World Junior Hockey Championship continues from Skellefteå, Sweden, right after this.
Championship in Winnipeg, and it was a hard-fought battle. Canada didn't score the clincher in a 2-0 victory until 14:25 of the third period, and they needed a strong performance from Roberto Luongo. Well, this year they are again in a close one, and Maxime Ouellet is playing the role of Roberto Luongo. Well, he has been a solid backbone to this Canadian team in the game. A 5-second power play to start this period off, and it ticks down as Canada clears it in. The teams are back at even strength. We'll see how long that lasts. In a parade to the penalty box, as Bob and Gord were mentioning between periods. Here's Jackman back at the line, works it across. Wrist shot by Rossiter, loose in front, and the puck bobbling and wobbling towards the corner. And finally just fired down the ice. The Czechs called for icing. Second period summary brought to you by Cheerios. It all starts here. The Czechs scoring the only goal of that second period. Martin Havlat, the first-round draft pick of the Ottawa Senators, getting the goal. Shots on goal favoring the Czech Republic by a wide margin, 27-16.
Well, as far as number of penalties that have been called, it's been 7 apiece.
Puck comes back to Biron, lofting a wrist shot towards the goal, and Schmid will cover it up. Between the Boards brought to you by Molson Canadian. It's a Canadian game.
Well, you take a look at the hits difference for Canada. They have played a more aggressive game, but at the same time, hitting's one thing, winning the battles along the boards and for the pucks is another. And in that department, it's been pretty even. But Canada taking the body more than the Czechs. The Czechs worrying more about trying to win possession of that puck.
And another penalty coming up against Canada. Tyler Bauch will go to the box. 53 seconds into the period.
Tyler Bauch would just like to play a game like he played last year in Winnipeg against Sweden in maybe one of the great physical contests that Canada has had over the course of the last few years. Tyler Bauch ended up taking the body right here. He didn't use his stick. He used the body, but the Czech player had already given up the puck and is still down as the result of that hit. Tyler Bauch is sitting in the penalty box for his efforts.
Well, Tyler Bauch playing the role that he plays best, although he was perhaps a little overzealous on that occasion. But think back to 1 year ago during the tournament in Winnipeg, especially in the game against Sweden, when Canada put on its best performance of the tournament, hitting every player in a Swedish uniform, and Tyler Bauch was also rewarded for his perseverance with a little bit of offensive contribution as well.
And I should point out just the difference, though. I'm not sure that Tyler Bauch cross-checked the player. I don't think that was right on that call. But when you saw all of those hits that Tyler Bauch had last year, he didn't get a penalty for any of those hits, and yet they weren't much different than the one that he just laid out.
And Bauch picks up a 10-minute misconduct.
Well, Tyler Bauch obviously had something to say about that check.
And that hurts an experienced player, and experience at the junior level is golden. So Bauk is off for 2 minutes, plus a 10-minute misconduct. And Jason Spezza sees his first ice time of the night. Unfortunately for Jason, skating across to the penalty box where he will serve the 2 minutes for Bauk. So Spezza will come back out. Bauk will stay in the box for the full 10.
He actually got it for checking from behind, not for cross-checking, which is the right call. Checking from behind was the proper call on that incident.
That's an automatic 10. No discretion. You hit from behind, you get the 10. Here's Svoboda. Works it up. Another chance in the power play. Puck comes across. It was intended for Kraft and redirected at the last second by Nilsson. The Czechs 0 for 7 on the power play. They have had 14 shots on goal during the man advantage. Kraft coming in over the blue line. Works it all the way across. Vasicek back to the line. Puck fired. That hit the side of the net. Svoboda let the shot go. And it looked for a moment as though it was in, but that was the outside of the mesh that it hit, fortunately for Canada.
Nilsson was looking for that puck. He ended up with it. Good anticipation on his part.
Pass up there for Civic, but it hit his stick and popped up over the glass, out of play. 1:11 to go on the power play for the Czechs. Bob McKenzie standing by at ice level. What's up, Bob?
Well, guys, it's going to be very interesting to see what the absence of Tyler Bauk for that 10-minute misconduct will do to the top line for Team Canada with Malhotra and Nilsson. Does the 13th forward Jason Spezza, when he finishes serving the minor, get on the ice? Probably not. It's difficult to put a player into those circumstances, not having played all game, so I would imagine there'll be some rearranging of the lines and some double shifting going on to make up for Bauk's absence.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bob, especially in the fact that that line is playing against either Kraft or Vasicek's line throughout the course of the game, and I doubt whether they would put Spezza out against that line. But then again, I'm not sure they're going to get an even man chance.
Christek coming in, cuts in on goal, goes to the backhand and couldn't finish off. Biron moved in to check him. In the corner, Svoboda cuts in front. He rolled it just through the crease. Another penalty coming up against Canada. Irgo trying to fire it on goal, and Biron touched it. And for the second time in the game, the Czech Republic will enjoy a two-man advantage. It is Biron heading to the box, and this is double jeopardy here for Canada because two of their best penalty killers are Tyler Bauk as well as Matthew Biron, and they are both in the box now.
Well, let's take the scoring opportunity first of all. Christic ended up going right in, and then Biron went for the puck, and unfortunately he missed the puck and got Christic up in the face. Christic had the scoring opportunity. The guy that plays for Tri-Cities and was a big goal scorer for Tri-Cities a year ago. He's continuing along that same route again this year for Tri-Cities. He had the scoring chance, but then it ended up getting Biron's high stick.
Well, and going by what they put up in the clock, Biron picks up a double minor for high sticking. So 42 seconds to go in a two-man advantage. And then an extended power play for the Czechs with a 5-on-4. Peter Svoboda works it across. Vasicek back for Svoboda. Vasicek with a shot that was stopped. It's loose in front. Kraft couldn't get a stick on it. Svoboda will reload. Up for Kraft. Works it across. Vasicek with a shot. Just fired it wide. Havlat back of the goal to Kraft. Back to Havlat. Civic is parked out in front. Vasicek to Svoboda. Shooting. Nice stop by Ouellet as he picked it off.
Ouellet had a perfect glove save. He just got down, was able to see that puck at the last second. Take a look from this angle. I'm not sure that he could see it any time before that. Well, he might have been able to, but in that space, glove side, just above the pad, that's where Svoboda was going for. Well, then again, when you take a look at it from that angle, I think Svoboda was just trying to hammer the puck at the net as hard as he could. And it was Ouellet that took that puck away from him.
Peter Svoboda's got a good shot. Toronto Maple Leafs draft pick, 35th overall in '98. Yaroslav Svoboda up on the faceoff, not to be confused with Peter, the man who was firing the puck from the blue line. Yaroslav a forward. He's a Carolina draft pick, a late one. McCarthy gets it up around the boards and out. Kutlak tapped it back in. Now Spezza steps onto the ice, and he is going to head right over to the bench. And coming on is Ryder. 3:08 to go and a 5-on-4 advantage for the Czech Republic. Svoboda battles his way to the corner. Looking around, Hornet is parked in the slot. Lots of time to set it up. A 1-1 game. Big chance here for the Czech Republic. Canada will need the big kill. Hornet tied up in front. Puck pushed through. This is Irgl. Works it across. Kutlak shooting. That's knocked down, and the rebound controlled by Michael Ryder. He waits, sees the opening, and gets it down the ice.
Brandon Reed went racing up the ice. He was all the way to the Czech blue line. He was looking for that puck. He thought he might have a break.
2:25 to go on the power play for the Czechs, and they get called for icing. We are 3 minutes and 50 seconds into the third period. Canada and the Czech Republic tied at 1, and the Czech Republic on the power play.
Well, you've got to say that Canada has certainly done a great job of killing penalties today. Ouellette has been sharp, but at the same time, he's had lots of help in front of him. The penalty killers have been quick to help him out at clearing those loose pucks. They've been very disciplined on the penalty kill today. They've had lots of practice already through exhibition and in this tournament.
Matt Kinch just clearing it down deep into Czech territory. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go on the power play for the Czech Republic. Good job there by Mark Bell to break things up in the neutral zone. Jumping on that loose puck. Here comes Kraft. Gets it up ahead. Vizicek stopped there at the line. The #1 power play unit for the Czechs out there. Civic, Havlat, and Kraft. And the puck cleared in and grabbed and held by Ouellette with 1:41 to go on the Czech man advantage.
The Royal Bank Financial Group has developed the Toonie Toss fundraising program, a fun way to raise money for minor hockey. Toss a toonie from the stands. One nearest the target wins great prizes. Proceeds from the event go directly to your community hockey program. The Royal Bank, proud supporters of the CHA.
Well, in North America, referees really don't want to be overly noticeable in a hockey game. That's usually the best hockey game. In this game, unfortunately, this man has taken center stage. He has been consistent, though. I'm not saying that he was any more against Canada than he was against the Czechs, but he just called an awful lot of penalties that, as Bob McKenzie said, has taken the flow out of the game.
Christek back to the line. Christek works it down low. This is Kraft. Pardon me, that's Sohor who moves it across in front. Christek. Got Stastny down low. Puck fired right on goal, and that is stopped and covered up by Ouellette. With 1:15 to go on the power play.
Well, for good reason. Ouellette is jumping on any of those loose pucks.
Maxime Ouellette has had a busy night, much busier than in Canada's opening game against Finland. He made some key stops in that one, but he's been tested a lot more and from in close a lot more than he was against Finland.
He's teased the Czech shooters at times with giving them that 5-hole and then taking away from them. That's a great art.
Puck just pops out, and that was Reed who had a notion. He was hot on the heels, hoping to pull it away. Schmid out to play it. Up around the boards. Ryder rumbling up into the corner. He has Reed out in front. Ryder tried the wraparound. Now they're going to have to hustle back. In over the line. Svoboda wings one towards the goal. Now Civic after it. Up around the boards. Vazicek working it up. Christek. Civic is parked in front. Number 25. He's got a good pair of hands, and Ryder watching him closely. Svoboda fires one. Kraft tried to tip it. And the puck comes outside the line, offside, called in the Czech Republic, and they're going to protest this one. Not that it'll do anything.
Kraft was standing right to the right of Ouellette, and when he was there, he did get the puck and he did tip it. Fortunately for Canada, not in the net.
Well, there was some confusion there in that offside call. One linesman indicated offside, the other one said no.
Take a look at this, folks. Was it out? Was it not out? Well, as you pointed out, Paul, there was a little bit of confusion out on the ice.
Yeah, the guy you could see on the right side signaled okay. There was a linesman over on the far side who called it. Lurking up ahead of the play was Bell. He gets it up. Pettinger with a good shot. Now Bell up there after the rebound. Tried to dump it out to Pettinger, but it was knocked down. 8 seconds left in the Czech power play. And a great job by the Canadian penalty killers to close the door on the Czech Republic early in this third period. The team's back at even strength. And the puck moved in. Horna with a shot that was knocked down. Pettinger gets it off the boards and out. This is Peter Svoboda. Christek in over the blue line, trying to go through Kinch. Lundmark moving it up ahead. Chouinard trying to get to the back of the net, being tied up. Chouinard looking for Ribeiro. Puck comes around the boards and will head down the ice. It is an icing call on the Czech Republic. Canada under pressure early in this third period with a Czech power play, but they hold the fort.
This is great! At midnight, we'll eat our way into the new millennium with this gigundo party sub from Subway.
And no bacon in my section.
Eat your way into the new millennium with delicious 6-foot party subs and party platters from Subway.
4, 3, 2. Oh well, 'tis always the next millennium.
Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
Third period is brought to you by Subway, the way a sandwich should be. Played 6 minutes and 50 seconds of period number 3. It is a 1-all game. Canada scoring back in the first period. Brandon Reed got the goal. Martin Havlat scoring for the Czech Republic in the second. A clean slate so far here in the third. In over the line comes Christek. Turned over. Puck up ahead. Ribeiro works it across. Lundmark after it. Chips it up for Chouinard. Ribeiro. Back to the line. Biron with the shot. Here's Lundmark. Ribeiro trying to get to the front of the net. Lundmark in the corner. Had the puck knocked away. Here's Biron with a shot. That was stopped. Rebound came out. It was a big one. But Christek controlling for the Czechs. Civic wheeling in. Gets a wrist shot. That one fluttered towards the top portion of the net, but was knocked away. Ribeiro up for Lundmark. This is Christek. Comes right down the middle, trying to get through 3 Canadians, and ran out of steam. Yindra clearing it in. Played 8 minutes of this third period. Up into the corner. Nidarost trying to get it out in front. Here's Kinch. Heatley up ahead for Nielsen. He had Malholtra with him there at the blue line.
Yeah, so the lines have been shaken up here. Lundmark went up with Ribeiro and Chouinard, and now Malholtra is up with Reed and Heatley. All because Bauk is still in the penalty box.
Bauk serving a 10-minute misconduct that he received for hitting from behind. Up along the boards. Irgl stopped there at the line. Here's Malholtra for Canada. Bomeister getting it up. Popped over Malholtra's stick. Nielsen dishes it up around back of the net. Heatley is knocked down there by Yindra. Nielsen was up on the play but couldn't claim the loose puck. Long pass, and Irgl just failed to pull that in. Had he done it, oh, that was trouble.
Tissot, the Swiss brand, preferred by the Swiss themselves.
Freedom. Control. Just you and your laptop. Log on to autobytel.ca for vehicle pricing, product reviews, and a low no-haggle price. Autobytel.ca, the road to your next car.
Well, because there's no red line, you can use that long pass, and the Czechs were looking to use it effectively here. Way up. Ergo got behind the Canadian defense, and had he connected with the pass, or had the pass connected with him, he would have been gone, long gone.
Rossiter lost the puck there along the boards. This is Jackman. Negotiating his way up to the circle. Here's Jackman. Richards up there with him. This is Richards in the corner. Back up for Bell.
Okay, guys, let him go.
Bell back of the net, muscling there with Hayek. Puck comes loose. Pettinger drops it down for Richards.
This is the game plan now for Canada. That's what they wanted to do, starting out, cycle the puck, just chip it down deep.
Vizicek gets it up to Havlat, and he will start things back. Havlat crisscrossing there at center with Svoboda. They come in over the line. Havlat tried to squeeze through. Rossiter got a piece of him.
You got to take the body on Havlat in that neutral zone. You can't allow him to dance around with the puck, or you'll be in big trouble.
Manny Malhotra up towards center. Didn't get across center, so Canada is called for icing. We played 10-17 of the third period.
Well, Canada got some good forechecking in, and they just haven't had a chance in this game to really get any flow to what they wanted to do coming into this game. Get the puck in deep, chip it in deep, work the Czech defense, and Claude Julien's team worked on that in the last couple of days in practice, but because of all the penalties, have had little opportunity to do it in tonight's game. But all of a sudden, that last shift, they were able to get a little bit of momentum. We'll see whether or not this next shift, Canada can continue with that. At the same time, Paul, they don't want to get caught with 3 men in deep, because this Czech team are good on the breakout. If their defense can move the puck, they're quick with their transition game.
Kraft after it in the corner. Civic coming up there. Here's King. Civic bumping him along the board. Malhotra getting it around. Gathered along the board. Civic tied up there by Biron. This is Kinch. Malhotra upended there at the line. Here's Nielsen. Sassoing it down into Czech territory. Heatley up after it. Heatley looking in front, had Nielsen high in the slot. Couldn't get it to him. Heatley at the blue line, trying to make a stand there. Maintains possession. He'll drive back in, up to Malhotra. Works his way deep. Malhotra right there at the side for Heatley, who took a flick at it. Malhotra back of the goal. Worked it loose. Puck fired towards the net, bounced loose. Heatley couldn't get to it. And shot, and it hit a player in the Czech bench, so we get a whistle. 1-1 the score. Canada and the Czech Republic. We're back in a moment.
For every guy who'd rather swing a club than dance in one. For every guy who's ever prepared a gourmet meal. For every guy who knows exactly why they're man's best friend. And for every guy who appreciates the benefits of being a guy, we'd like to introduce you to the Dodge Durango. It has the most cargo space, towing capacity, and power of any SUV in its class. The Dodge Durango. It's good to be a guy.
Sports Desk coming up at 6:30 Eastern Time with Bob Pronick. And a look at parents and girlfriends and sisters and brothers who have all started filtering in the last 24 hours or so. McCarthy tries to clear it up and play again, whistle down.
Now with all of these quick whistles, Canada still is suffering from not being able to get a lot of momentum going. What Claude Julien would like to see right now is his team being able to roll them over quickly with 40-second shifts, apply a lot of pressure again, chip that puck into the corners, work the defense, and get some scoring chances here.
Yindra trying to bash it in, and that goes into the Canadian bench, so we get another stoppage. The official website of the Canadian Hockey Association features Team Canada player profiles, latest results. Plus, you can enter contests to win an autographed Team Canada jersey. The address on your screen, www.canadianhockey.ca, your Team Canada site.
As a coach behind the bench, as Canada's coach Claude Julien is faced with right now, you just hate this type of hockey this last couple of minutes. Just such short whistles. Your team doesn't get a chance to get anything going. A lot of standing around waiting for face-off.
Puck fired in by Ryder. Up back of the net. Ribeiro gets it out to the side for Chouinard. Ribeiro still after it. Here's Ryder. Clears it up. Yindra. Off the boards, McCarthy there at the line. Able to keep it in. Ribeiro. Works it to Ryder. Ribeiro and Ryder trying to work it down low. Yindra. Knocked down by McCarthy. He knifed it across there in front. Ryder after it. And the puck comes out. McCarthy will pick it up. See, McCarthy didn't really want to commit himself there just outside the blue line and get caught.
And Ryder's back in this line with Chouinard and Ribeiro. You like to have that consistency. You can.
The so-called Montreal Canadiens line. All three are draft picks of the Canadiens.
But it's a line that's got all the right characteristics of a good line. Goal-scoring abilities, good speed, good forechecking ability. Ryder can dig that puck out. Chouinard, Ribeiro can finish off.
Ryder is coached by Claude Julien back in Hull in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. It's his third season with Hull. People know the guy. And there's that Canadiens line I referred to a moment ago. Ribeiro, Chouinard, and Ryder.
Ryder's got that good outside speed too, which helps on this bigger ice surface. And also very good and sound defensively.
Jackman puts it back for Reed. Rossiter working it up.
Good job by Rossiter there. He had pressure on him, but he was able to get that puck out. That's all Claude Julien wants his defenseman to do, is just headman that puck quickly. As he said, we don't need any Bobby Orrs on this team. Well, that would be nice. But they just need them to headman the puck, not carry it all the way out of the zone.
Reed gets it out to Lundmark. He's upended, and Canada will get a chance in the power play. That was Jamie Lundmark trying to come away from the boards towards the net, and he was pulled down. So a big opportunity for Canada here at 13:24 of the third period.
Well, Canada will take the break, but I'm sure that Jaroslav Holek is feeling the same way as Claude Julien is in tonight's game. It's just one penalty after another. The official has been consistent throughout it, but I'm not sure that I would have called that a penalty either. But Lundmark ends up going down, and Canada will take the power play opportunity.
That was mysteriously a high sticking call.
Yeah, our sentiments. Exactly.
So for the power play for Canada, it's Ribeiro, Chouinard, and Bell up front. Here's Kinch at the blue line, fires one. Biron is the other point man. And Christek comes away with it.
Chouinard's going to have to get back quick.
Christek battling in, trying to work it across in front. He had Kraft with him, and the net is dislodged.
Well, one thing is for sure, is that Canada can sometimes, as they did in the third period in the first game, not quite move their feet well enough defensively as well. The puck was turned over right here. Now watch, every Canadian player has got to be moving. To the outside here was Chouinard, and he just wasn't moving quickly enough to come back. Bernard ended up looking to pick up the late man, but he was in a position earlier that he could have jumped back quickly to stop the quick breakout through the neutral zone by the Czechs.
Here's Kinch. 1:38 to go on the power play for Canada. Matt Kinch, long pass up ahead for Biron, bounced away from him, and again a turnover for Canada, and the Czechs break back shorthanded. Puck cleared up. Irgl into the corner. Irgl working it around, has Horna up there with him. Ribeiro in over the blue line. Up towards the corner, Bell going after it, back for Ribeiro. Snaps it across towards the front. Thrown to the line, but kept in. Yindra trying to get it out. Squeenard looking for it. And play whistle down. And the puck was gloved ahead. That is why we get the whistle. 56 seconds to go in Canada's power play.
That puck was bouncing around dangerously as well, because there was a Czech player who was hanging out around the blue line, and Canada were trying to press, trying on this power play to keep the puck down low. The father of Bobby Halik for the New Jersey Devils has been rather disgusted, I think, by the way that this game has been played.
Tyler Bouk back onto the ice for Canada.
He's well rested.
Serving 12 minutes in the penalty box. 2 plus a 10 misconduct for hitting from behind. 42 seconds to go in Canada's power play. In over the line. McCarthy slams on the brakes. Gets it down to Heatley. Heatley looking in front. They really mixed it up in front of the goal. That's guess who? Tyler Bouk right in the center of things.
Yeah, but Bouk also ran right over. I thought he was going head first into the net.
20 seconds to go in Canada's man advantage. Pass up ahead. Bouk moving in and couldn't hang on to it. Malhotra there along the boards. Picks it up. Back to Richards with a wrist shot. Stop. Rebound. In front. Backhand shot just went wide. That was Heatley with the chance. Up along the boards for Bouk. 3 seconds to go on the power play. And the loose puck corralled by Kirtsev. Couldn't get it out. Bouk after it. Gets it up ahead. Here's Heatley waiting. Gets it back. Jackman gets a shot. And then ricocheted wide. It was blocked on the way in. Here's Bouk. Here's Chapman. Works it up. McCarthy trying to flick it on goal. He's badgered there in the corner. Kraft with it. Teams back at even strength. In over the blue line. Christek driving up there. His team on a change. He's waiting for the reinforcements to pour in, but they don't get there quickly enough. Barrett Jackman for Canada. Rossiter throws it up ahead. Here comes Heatley. That was stopped at the line. Irgl working in. Gets a wrist shot. A tough one right on goal. Well, let's stop that one. Jackman gets it up ahead. Long pass up at the line for Reed, and he was just offside. Tried to tightrope along that blue line, and 1 foot just slipping off the rope.
It's a Canadian game.
Well, let's take a look at that last. Well, it was offside, but let's just take a look at the nice passing here. One good pass, and now that long pass. Ooh. Oh, I don't know whether that was offside or not. Look at where Reed's foot was. I think it was on the blue line. I don't think that was offside, folks.
That was close. Reed throws it in. 3.5 minutes to go in the third period. We are tied at 1. Here's Pettinger out of the corner with the puck. Looking in front. Had Lundmark out there. Couldn't get it to him that time. Pettinger to Lundmark. Gets it down for Reed. Pettinger's in front now. Puck comes back, intended for Bira. Good anticipation there by Havlat, who leapt up and poked it down the ice. Now Svoboda up there. Gets it back. Vizicek with a shot. And that just skipped wide. Skating back to pick it up is Hayek.
Good job by Kinch, just chipping that puck up and out of the board, up and along the board, getting it up into the neutral zone.
Pristak gets it up around back of the Canadian goal. Jackman, lots to contend with there along the boards. Gets a little bit of help. And the puck coming out. It's an offside call in the Czech Republic. With 2.5 minutes to go in the game, we're tied at 1.
For over 20 years, Air Canada has sponsored Canadian hockey, from World Championships to 5 regional midget events and the national final, the Air Canada Cup. Each year, Air Canada is pleased to present scholarships to the top players at these tournaments. Air Canada, proud supporters of the CHA.
Tied at 1. The Czech Republic, after winning its opening game of the tournament, tied their last one against the U.S. So a tie here against Canada, while better than a loss, isn't helping their cause very much.
Even strength, and Malhotra still out there against Craftsline.
Svoboda floats one in. Ouellet drops that there for Jackman. Jackman gets it up ahead. Rossiter bouncing it. Malhotra couldn't catch up. Under 2 minutes to go. And the puck cleared to the corner. Nilsson up there after it. Trying to get it towards the front. Malhotra out there with him. Now here comes Malhotra. Winds it up, steps in over the blue line, and just going offside was Eric Chouinard. Here again is Bob McKenzie.
Well, guys, it'll be very interesting to see the Czech mindset in this last minute and 38 seconds. When they were tied with the U.S. late in the game, there was no question they were playing for the tie. They've already got 3 points in this tournament. They know that this could bump it up to 4. And with Slovakia and Finland down at the bottom and only one team being eliminated here, I'll be very surprised if the Czechs take very many chances. What will be interesting to see is will Team Canada take very many chances to try and get the win. They'll have to be very careful not to give the Czechs an opportunity for a turnover.
Canada's next game in the tournament is tomorrow against Slovakia, and then they wrap up the round robin play in their conference against the U.S.
Well, considering the Czechs last year, as Gord mentioned earlier, were 1-3-0 during the round robin, didn't even make it to the quarterfinals for good reason. They're playing possibly for the tie here.
It would be the 6th time that these two countries would have battled to a tie in this tournament. Chouinard up ahead for Ryder. Here's McCarthy. Long shot, and that one almost handcuffed Schmid. Chouinard up after it.
I'm not sure if he saw that long shot. Might be reason to take a few more at him.
No icing. And Biral back to pick it up. Checks in a change, so a little bit of room. Long pass up there to Ryder. He'll loft it up into the corner. Rivero along the boards. To Bout. And he had his pocket picked. Back come the Czechs. Look out up ahead. Havlat was trying to get loose. Puck just fired wide of the net there by Kraft. Kraft had Havlat wheeling right down the seam, right down the middle, but elected to carry it in and shoot. 25 seconds to go. Here's Biral. Gets it back for Kinch. Pass up ahead. Malhotra works it in. Bout couldn't quite catch up to it. He drives into the corner. 10 seconds to go. Here's Bout. Gets it up for Malhotra. See if they can get one last chance. Malhotra looking to get it in front. 3 seconds left. And this game ends in a 1-all tie. A scrambly contest. Many penalties, but hard fought.
Yeah, the Czechs really put on a good performance here in tonight's game. they did fight hard in this game. They won the first period in the sense that they really battled harder for the puck, kept the puck inside Canada's zone. But Canada came back, fought hard in this game. I'd love to see these two teams go back at it again without the number of power play opportunities that were presented in tonight's game.
Ouellet with a solid game for Canada, and they end up tying the Czech Republic at 1. So Canada now with a win and a tie, the Czech Republic with the win and 2 ties.
So, Wayne, how are you going to score points now?
I really want to try rodeo.
Pretty dangerous.
The great one now waiting patiently. He's obviously very pensive.
This is going to leave a mark. Old 99 is getting thrashed.
Oh, you got to give him points for style.
Do you want points? Want to win in Durango? Got an SO extra card? So use it. Now you can win and earn at SO.
One-handed. Pretty good. Shaking well, and... Oh, ouch! Look out! He's getting up.
Look at the smile on his face.
That's amazing.
Swipe the card, win and earn.
The Royal Bank Financial Group has developed the Toonie Toss fundraising program, a fun way to raise money for minor hockey. Toss a toonie from the stands. One nearest the target wins great prizes. Proceeds from the event go directly to your community hockey program. The Royal Bank, proud supporters of the CHA.
It's time for all Canadians to make a commitment to better our hockey programs. Esquire and the Canadian Hockey Association are working together to develop minor hockey in Canada. $1 from each Esquire watch sold between October and March will go directly to the sponsorship and growth of minor hockey. Check out tsn.ca/ESQ or your participating Esquire dealer. Tell us about your team of superstars. They could receive Bauer merchandise and be the next Team Esquire stars to say...
Got it. Breakaway in progress. Shots fired. Time to find out.
Day after grueling day, two men face off against the big league.
Guy comes down, he goes there, he goes over to there, a guy hits it. It is over.
Armed with experience, they brave the action and chase the truth.
What are you, blind?
Take your time. Be absolutely sure.
These men finish what they start. The fast-breaking, high-level action is here. Starring Rod Smith. And his partner on the beat, Darren Detishin. Together, they are Rodsky and Dutch. Rodsky and Dutch. All new dynamic episodes. Weeknights at 11 Eastern on TSN Sports Desk.
Time now for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Rayovac. With Canada leading 1-0 early in the third period, the Czechs get the equalizer. Martin Havlat with a nice move. The Ottawa first-rounder scores the tying goal, and this game ends in a 1-1 draw. A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association for the training and development of Canadian coaches and amateurs.